Philipp Veit, the 13th of February 1793 to the 18th of December 1877, was a German Romantic painter and one of the main exponents of the Nazarene movement. It is to Veit that the credit of having been the first to revive the nearly forgotten technique of fresco painting is due. Biography: Veit was born in Berlin, Prussia. He was the son of a banker, Simon Veit, and his wife Brendel, daughter of Moses Mendelssohn. After Veit's parents divorced in 1799, Veit initially stayed with his mother and lived with her and her new husband Friedrich Schlegel in Jena, Paris, and Cologne. In 1806, he returned to his father in Berlin and finished his schooling in the Grau's Kloster. From 1808 on, Veit received his first art education at the Royal Dresden Academy of Fine Arts, where he was taught by Friedrich Mattei and Caspar David Friedrich, later in Vienna. Although a prodigious talent when it came to drawing, Veit was not comfortable with oil painting, for which reason in Vienna he took to the medium of watercolor. In Vienna, he made the acquaintance of Schlegel, and through him came to know several Viennese romantics, one of whom was the poet and novelist Joseph von Eichendorff. He was strongly influenced by, and joined, the Nazarene movement in Rome, where he worked for some years before moving to Frankfurt. In 1810, Veit converted to Catholicism together with his mother and his senior brother Johannes Veit. While participating in the struggle against Napoleon in 1813–14, the German campaign of 1813 or War of the Sixth Coalition, first as a Lutzower Jäger and part of the Lutzow Free Corps, subsequently as a member of the Kleistsche Army Corps, a corps led by Friedrich Graf Kleist von Nollendorf, and returning to Berlin for a short period, Veit became closer friends with the mentioned above poet Joseph Freiherr von Eichendorff and his own lieutenant Friedrich de la Motte Fouquet. Beginning in 1811, Veit was more teaching himself and finished a couple of portraits: Zichy Vasenicchio, Julie Graffin, Lost, Franz Xaver von Baader, and other members of Vienna's society and exponents of Romanticism. In 1815, he finished his first religious painting, Virgin with Christ and St. John, a votive painting for the Church of St. James in Heiligenstadt, Vienna. The painting shows already close ties to the Nazarene movement and thus was inspired by the style of Pietro Perugino and Raphael. Rome was at that time of fundamental importance not only to artists of all stripes but, as the religious center of Christianity, especially to artists prepared to recreate a spiritually inspired art, seeking for inspiration in the art of the Middle Ages and of the early Renaissance and living a nearly monastic existence similar to the medieval artists' workshop, with almost entirely Christian patrons, a reason why the artists' group was named according to the medieval guilds of painters or Lecaspand, Brotherhood of St. Luke. In 1816, Veit joined the Brotherhood which inhabited, or had occupied, the abandoned monastery of Sant Isidoro. Since 1815, Johann Friedrich Overbeck, Peter von Cornelius, Friedrich Wilhelm Schadow, and later Veit frescoed a room in the Casa Bartholdi, called Palazzo Zaccari on the Pincian Hill, which at that time was owned by Jakob Solomon Bartholdi, the Prussian consul general. The commission was given to Schadow and his young compatriots with the selected subject of Joseph and his brethren. While the Bloody Coat and Joseph in prison were conferred to Schadow, Veit executed Potiphar's wife and the 7 Years of Great Abundance. In 1867, the frescoes were sold by the Zaccari family to the Alt Nationalgalerie in Berlin. In 1817, Veit received the commission for a fresco in the Museo Chiaramonti, part of the Vatican, set out in the long loggia which joins the Palace of Belvedere with the Vatican, with the allegorical subject of the triumph of the religion. A simultaneous replica, executed in oil on canvas, was exhibited in 1819 in the Palazzo Caffarelli on the Capitol Hill and is today part of the collection of the National